It has been my great pleasure over these past years to induct baseball's greats by reading their Hall of Fame plaques. It is an honor I would not forgo easily, but today I'm making an exception for a very special plaque presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an equally great pleasure to introduce to you Dustin Smith, son of our 2002 inductee, Ozzie Smith, who will honor his father by reading his Hall of Fame plaque inscription. Welcome to the Hall of Fame, Ozzie.
Osborne Smith, Ozzie, the Wizard. San Diego National League, 1978 to 1981. St. Louis National League, 1982 to 1986. 96. Revolutionized defensive play at shortstop with his acrobatic fielding and artistic ability of turning in double plays. The 13-time Gold Glove winner set 6 major league fielding records among shortstops, including most assists, double plays, and chances accepted. An effective offensive player, he accumulated 2,460 hits and stole 580 bases. Named to 15 All-Star teams, his relentless pursuit of perfection helped lead the Cardinals to 3 World Series, including a 1982 championship. His congenial personality, consummate professionalism, and trademark backflip made the Wizard a fan favorite. Thank you.
Thank you. Jane, Dustin, Commissioner Seelig, thank you very much for that very gracious introduction. This is tough. I'll make it. Before I begin today, let me take the time to express my deep and sincere gratitude to all of the people here at the Hall of Fame, my fellow players and coaches here, the sports writers, and all the media representatives. But I especially would like to thank the San Diego Padres organization and the St. Louis Cardinal organization for allowing me to do what I truly love doing. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've faced many challenges in my life and during my career, and if I was to rank them by difficulty, this moment here in Cooperstown would rank right at the top of the list. You see, it's almost an impossible task to express in about 20 short minutes a journey that has taken me over 20 years to complete. How does one describe the birth of a dream as it takes shape in a young boy's heart? How does one explain the fire that was kindled deep within my heart at such an early age, let alone the nurturing of that flame for so many years? How does one thank the countless individuals who were so much a part of helping bring that dream to completion? And how does one express the indescribable feeling of finally reaching this summit that so many others have struggled to obtain but fell short of achieving? For me, this award is too prestigious and meaningful to simply ad-lib a few random thoughts of appreciation and joy. It is too precious of a moment for casual words or redundant cliches to be thrown out without careful thought. And it is too important to simply address my remarks only to those friends and fans who have been so kind to join me here at this special moment. So I'd like to take the liberty of expressing my thoughts and appreciation to all of those baseball fans who understand the true significance and impact that this great sport has on our American culture. And I want to thank those who faithfully come to major league stadiums across this country, as well as those who attend Little League parks in small towns and cities everywhere in the United States. And I especially would like to address my remarks to every young boy and girl in America who might want to understand how such a journey can be accomplished. Regardless of where they live, regardless of their present station in life, and regardless of any condition or barrier that might seem to deny them access to such a magnificent moment of glory. You see, when I look back over the years through the multitude of struggles, the victories and the defeats, the highs and the lows, the naysayers and the cheerleaders, I see three distinct influencing factors that impacted my career and my quest. And ironically, but fittingly, these three factors can be found within what I'm holding in my hand at this time. In one hand, I hold this baseball, this 5 to 5 1/4 ounce, 9 to 9 1/4 inch circumference sphere around which Abner Doubleday devised the rules for the game in 1839 here in Cooperstown, New York. And in this hand, I'm holding a copy of L. Frank Baum's classic book, The Wizard of Oz. If one was to cut this baseball in half, as I have done to this one, you would find the roadmap of my journey from a young child growing up in Southern California to this prestigious podium here in Cooperstown, New York. And although many of you are seated too far away from this platform to have a close view of this ball, I think every true baseball fan at some time in their life has taken one of these apart and examined it. So if you can't see it from where you're sitting, I think you can clearly see it through your own past memories. Likewise, when you look at Dorothy's journey down the yellow brick road and her three delightful companions, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, you will find the exact same roadmap as found in baseball. Let me explain what I mean. The first thing I want to talk about is the core of this baseball. This little cork pill, as some would call it, weighs less than an ounce. But when you look at its role in baseball history, this is where it all began. Likewise, it also represents the core of my quest. It is the genesis of any great journey or challenge that one embraces. You see, all great journeys begin with a dream of what one might do, a vision of what one might become, a specter of potential greatness and achievement within one's mind. Ironically, that's exactly what the Scarecrow wanted most from the Wizard of Oz. A mind so that he could think and dream. The core of my journey to baseball's Hall of Fame was a dream that took shape in my heart one day while sitting as a child on the front steps of our home. I remember I was exhausted from playing yet another game of Annie, Annie Over. However, unlike a lot of other kids who played this game, I didn't have someone on the other side eager to catch the ball. I would throw the ball up toward the peak of the roof and run around to the other side in hopes of catching it myself. And if any of you are wondering, no, I never did, but it never stopped me from trying. That was the day, on those front steps at the age of 12, that Ozzie Smith determined it was about time to decide what he was going to do with the rest of his life. That was the day I started dreaming about becoming a professional baseball player. And luckily, I didn't just experience the dream for a moment and then dismiss it as simply because we don't give our dreams time to take root within our minds. Too quickly, we seem to cover them with a blanket of doubt where they fade away and are forgotten. I instead let the dream come into the playground of my mind. I embraced it. I embellished it to the point where I even selected the position that I would play. And finally, after dancing with this beautiful fantasy adventure, I took ownership of it, and the dream, now ordained, became a part of my future destiny. You see, without this cushion cork center, there would be little, if any, life in this baseball. Just like there would have been very little happiness to the scarecrow's life without a brain. So likewise, my quest began as a child who used his mind to discover his dream. There's another critical part of this core center that is equally vital. Protecting the cork center of this ball and reinforcing it are two distinct rubbers, one of black rubber, the other of red. For me, these two layers reflect two vital affirming shells of my core dream. The first shell is my faith in God. With Him, I have everything. Without Him, I have nothing. The second shell is the faith I had in myself, which came through my mother's love and encouragement as she repeatedly told me, Oz, you can do whatever you want as long as you believe in your dreams with all your heart. The power of the two shells have been life-sustaining throughout my entire career. Like with a baseball, these shells add enforcement to the core. Without either of them, I would never have completed this journey. One gave me strength, the other gave me purpose. The second part of the construction of this baseball is manufactured by the wrapping of over 200 yards of wool around that core. This makes up for the greater portion of the bulk in the baseball. Proper winding to a quality-made baseball is important, for it adds many different elements, such as tension, loft, and memory that are critical factors. In The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's second companion, the Tin Man, desperately wanted a heart. Why? So that he could experience love and believe in himself. When I look back at my life and career, I see this as the second critical part of my journey. I refer to it as the strands of love and faith. Strands of love and faith that so many other people have wrapped around my dream through their love and faith in me. Now, I could stand here for several days enumerating a host of people who have extended their love and faith into my life, but I don't have time to do that. But allow me to name just a few people that were instrumental in my being here today. Besides my mother, Marvella, who wasn't able to join us here today because of illness, I will never, ever forget the faith that my high school coach, Art Webb, who has passed on, had in me, not only in high school, but also in my collegiate years. You see, when I was becoming a little disheartened while playing college ball at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, Art Webb got wind of it. And just about the time I was questioning my ability and expressed thoughts of going home, he called me up and he sternly told me, Oz, you are not going to quit. You're going to hang in there and weather this storm. And because of that call and his faith in me, I stayed. A simple strand of faith that kept my dream alive. I will never forget the threads of faith my college coach, Bertie Harr, who has also passed away. However, his wife is here today. Jeannie, could you stand? Bertie was able to weave his strands of faith around my dream as he taught me the value of a great personal work ethic, how to develop greater speed between the bases and going after the ball, and how the ability of becoming a switch hitter could bring a valuable addition to my playing worth. It was because of him that I developed this saying that absolutely nothing is good enough if it can be made better, and better is never good enough if it can be made best. Let me repeat that. Absolutely nothing is good enough if it can be made better, and better is never good enough if it can be made best. Another simple strand of faith to keep my dream alive. And I will forever cherish the life-changing experience and strands of love that I was blessed with through my relationship with Merle and Pat Eberly while playing semi-pro baseball in Clarinda, Iowa. Merle and Pat are also here today. Thank you. You know, most people would have no idea of how intimidating and stressful it could be for a young black player to move into an all-white rural community in the Midwest. However, Merle and Pat took me in and taught me how to live with that challenge. As my coach, Merle taught me the value of strict discipline and the importance of constantly improving my game. And I would be remiss if I didn't take the time to thank the entire community of Clarinda, Iowa, for their strands of love and friendship that they showed me then and still do today. Thank you. There are threads of great friendship like that extended to me by Mackie Shillstone, Glenn Ezell, Cliff Ditto. Then there's Sid Strasburg, who for 10 years, every trip into New York, bought me a bag of fresh fruit that he handpicked with my name on it. I know Sid is up there looking down right now, and he probably has a bag of fruit with my name on it. Thank you, Sid. Andy and I talk about you often. And a special thread in here belongs to Alvin Dark and Whitey Herzog. It was Alvin Dark who saw the dream in me that others could as he brought me into the major leagues. And it was Whitey who helped me get going down that yellow brick road. Another strand of faith and love to keep my dream alive. The list goes on, and like hundreds of yards of wool yarn that are wrapped around this baseball, so too are the countless strands of faith that others wrapped around my life, giving substance and shape to my quest. And unlike a lesser quality ball that some produce, the strands I'm referring to were not synthetic, but rather made of the highest quality to add memory, tension, lift, and loft to my life, just like the heart did for the Tin Man. And the final stage in making a great baseball comes when that cover is wrapped around those strands of faith carefully, stitched 108 times. Here, quality is essential. Baseball manufacturers typically use a high-grade alum-tanned leather to give the ball the ability to withstand the many hits and scuffs that it will take to be resilient, to still be durable while retaining a soft, supple feeling. And again, in The Wizard of Oz, we find that same ingredient in what the third companion wanted. For if you remember the story, the lion wanted courage. And it was the courage he wanted, not just to rule his kingdom. He wanted the courage to face adversity, to look in the eyes of defeat and conquer it. I always wanted to play that part. Like a baseball, all great dreams need that kind of covering as well. My covering was made from the shielding jacket of determination that comes from an inner courage to hang in there when times get tough. It takes courage to see any quest through to its ultimate completion. Over the years, I, like many other individuals, have chosen to attempt a seemingly impossible dream. I've experienced numerous moments where sudden barriers arose. Achievements were denied, important relationships were fractured, detours had to be taken, and disappointments endured. However, in addition to the strength that I gained through both core protecting beliefs and the faith extended by others, I also stitched a jacket of determination to get back up when knocked down, to step back in the batter's box after being brushed back or hit with some of life's sudden pitches. And though my jacket of determination became worn and tattered at times, I maintained the courage to be able to keep the dream alive. The stitching held and the quest continued until I reached this platform today. Just think of how much greatness we would be living without today if those who were pursuing the following dreams did not have the courage to withstand rejection and disappointment. The great American epic, Gone with the Wind, was rejected 38 times before publishers accepted it. Dr. Seuss was turned away 12 times. Can you imagine raising a child today without the cat in the hat? War and Peace was rejected over 10 times. Peyton Place was rejected 14 different times. Should have been 15, but that's another story I won't get into. And every month for over 20 years, the great poet Gertrude Stein sent one of her poems to editors who every month for 20 years rejected every one of them. We don't like their sound. They will never be popular. That was Decca Records turning down the sole rights to record the Beatles in 1962. And for 20 years, Jim Henson maintained the courage to struggle with rejection before one of the major networks decided to accept his Muppet Show. And finally, one of my favorites. Reportedly, Thomas Edison tried over 1,000 times to create the light bulb. What do you think would have happened if he had quit at, let's say, 976? We'd all go home and watch television in the dark. That's what would happen. So for those of you who might have wondered how this man who could not run as fast as others, who did not hit the ball as far as many, who was not as brilliant about the game as others. Did I say that? Oh, that must be a misprint. If you wonder how Ozzie Smith still come this far and reached the equivalent of the Mount Everest of baseball, this is how it was done. It's all here. It's in this ball, within this book, and within your hearts. And let me add one more point before I surrender this stage. And there's one more critical ingredient to the game of baseball and the Wizard of Oz, and I hope that when all else is forgotten, it is the one thing that is remembered about Ozzie Smith. And I refer to it as the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and that is this. I sincerely believe that there is nothing truly great in any man or woman except their character, their willingness to move beyond the realm of self and into a greater realm of selflessness. In fact, there's a simple poem by an unknown poet that I have used for years as one of my guiding lights to character. And I think it should be posted on the locker of every professional athlete in America. For those of us here who've had the privilege of knowing Jack Buck, we know of his fondness for poetry. Jack, this one's for you. The title is to any athlete. There are little hands all eager. There are little eyes upon you, and they're watching night and day. There are little ears that quickly take in everything we say. There are little hands all eager to do anything you do, and a little boy who's dreaming of the day he'll be like you. You're the little fellow's idol. You're the wisest of the wise. In his little mind about you, no suspicions ever rise. He believes in you devoutly, holds that all you can do. He will say and do in your way when he's grown up like you. There's a wide-eyed little fellow who believes you're always right, and his ears are always open, and he watches day and night. You're setting an example every day in all you do for the little boy who's waiting to grow up to be like you. Yes, my glove has given me much, but more importantly, it has given me the ability to give back. That is the ultimate talent in life. That is the greatest trophy on my mantle, and I will pray that it will so remain. So I thank the Baseball Hall of Fame for giving me this honor, and I want to thank the person who gave me the three most precious gifts of all, my children. Denise, though our journey has taken us down different paths, the good roads far outnumber the rough ones, and the fun that we share will forever be embedded. Thank you. I would also like to share this moment with my three brothers, Fred, Carl, Algie, and my sister Pam. Thank you. I especially want to thank my three children, Dustin, Taryn, and OJ, who've continued to love me, knowing that part of the price was my significant absence at times from their daily lives. You see, baseball has never developed the ability to schedule games around their players' family birthday parties or dance recitals. And I don't know of a player that hasn't had to carry that burden and pain in their hearts through the years. Thanks to all of my fellow players and coaches who helped make my career so fulfilling and so much fun, as well as all of the great, great fans of St. Louis, Missouri. And finally, I want to thank the millions of American fans without whom this sport would not have become one of the greatest American traditions of all time. Folks, there is no Wizard in Oz. Ozzie Smith is not a uniquely talented person. In fact, he's no different than any man, woman, boy, or girl in this audience today. Ozzie Smith was a boy who decided to look within, a boy who discovered that absolutely nothing is good enough if it can be made better, a boy who discovered an old-fashioned formula that would take him beyond the rainbow, beyond even his wildest dream, a boy who discovered a formula that was, and is still today, a mind to dream, a heart to believe, and the courage to persevere. And the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is the opportunity to serve others. Thank you, and may God bless you in your journey, and God bless America.